Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Unlock Show. I'm your host, Tracy Wilson, and wow, today I am joined by a very special guest, Mrs. Carla White. Carla is absolutely amazing. I've come to know her over the last couple of years, but let me tell you a little bit about her because we are absolutely going to explode the lid and uncover all the secrets as to how you really get started quickly in the tech space. So Carla is the founder of Hero FM. She is the first woman to launch an iPhone app, which has been in the charts, by the way, for over 10 years. She's a success coach. She calls herself a happiness cattle prodder, who's helped countless people transform their personal and professional lives via her apps, her speaking engagements, her newsletters, seminars, and her books. She's the #1 best-selling app, which is called Gratitude. So for those of you who've been actually inside of the Success Secrets for Family, Business, and Life group, who've been doing our little gratitude challenge, you may well want to go and download Carla's app, the Gratitude Journal. It has been downloaded by thousands and thousands of people. It's actually been featured on Oprah, NBC, New York Times, and countless other publications, and it continues to grow in its popularity. She's going to tell us all about that. She also shares everything she knows about producing successful apps in her best-selling book called Idea to iPhone. So you can also go grab yourself that. We will tell you how to get a copy of it a little bit later in the show. And due to her popular demand, she's actually launched a brand new podcast, The Radical Shift, which is actually aligning neuroscience with ancient wisdom in a way that has never, ever been done before. So there's multiple ways that you're going to be able to get more of Carla because you're going to want to after today's show. So welcome to the show, Carla. So awesome to have you here.
Oh, thank you for having me, Tracy. This is so much fun.
This is going to be heaps of fun. So for you guys, you know the drill. So if you're inside of the Success Secrets for Family, Business, and Life, then you know that you're able to communicate with us. So all you've got to do is just click the link at the top that says, let StreamYard know who you are. And then you can type to us in the chat box, and we'll make sure that we answer any questions that you also have. You may also be listening to this as a podcast, so the same applies. If you're listening to the podcast, please make sure that you leave comments because we'll make sure that both Carla and I get back to you and answer any questions that you have. So pretty simple, the way that it flows here on the Unlock Show, and it is all about blending business, family, and life. Now, just letting you know, Carla has a puppy, a wee dog that is like going crazy outside at the moment because it's walking hour. So if we hear them in the background, don't worry. That's how it goes. That's life, right? So let's kick in. Tell us a little bit. Like I know I've done a big introduction there, Carla, but tell us a little bit more about who's Carla White? What is she all about, and why does she do what she does?
Yeah, right. So growing up on a farm, if you would have told me I was doing all this, I would have laughed because we had a plane fly overhead twice a day, and that was about as advanced as technology as we had back then, black and white TV. But thankfully my mom was interested in getting computers, and she always got us like the latest games, Pong, Atari, and it just got me more and more interested. Long story short, I got an MBA and MBS. I studied over in Germany, spoke multiple languages. I worked for the Pentagon for my first big girl job, did all these things, yet I was broke and lived out of my car. I had no money because I didn't know how to make money, right? I knew how to get the grades, get a good resume, but I didn't know how to negotiate. I didn't know how to value my skills, anything like that. I was just grateful I got a job or grateful I got some insurance, right? And had all this student debt. So I ended up living and working in London for a long period of time, working for Microsoft. And that's where I really dove headfirst into tech and how to create software products and knowing how to manage them. And when my gig with Microsoft was up in London, they told me, look, you can go back to America, code there, or we'll let you go. And I chose to be let go, not to go code in Seattle. And what happened after that is we launched, my husband and I, we were just roommates at that time, launched our first business together, and it tanked. Like wasn't doing very well at all. And you know what it's like as an entrepreneur. You're working like 12 hours, 14 hours. You're just like putting more and more into it. Like this is going to work. And that, like you get this little lead and that'll hope. And at the time I was coping with the stress in all the ways that society taught us how to do. And, Australia is much like England. They have great stress coping mechanisms. The pub, really good chocolate, really good telly, right? You could just
coffee.
Yes. You can just like forget about everything and binge watch TV. Like even the commercials in England are good. So I wasn't coping with the stress. I was just ignoring it. And as a result, I started to get sick. I started to get ulcers. I started to get insomnia, all these things that were happening to me that I never had happened to before. And right when I thought it couldn't get any worse, I got that middle of the night phone call from my brother that my dad had suddenly passed away. And that's when like my whole world came crashing in because I wasn't dealing with the stress anyway. And not only that, by chance, I had been in America, seen my dad like just a week before that. I didn't even have my bags unpacked. And I noticed when I was home that something wasn't right. But I didn't say anything to anybody because I wanted it to just be a nice vacation. Like I was a master at avoiding stress by then and avoiding difficult conversations. And so I didn't say anything. And because I didn't say anything, I blamed myself for his untimely death and carried that on my shoulder, like to the point where I was driving down the M4 as fast as I could in my little Honda, just hoping it would flip. Like, I just want this pain to be done. And my husband thought, well, let's get you back to the States. Let's do something. So we moved here back to the US where I'm at now, and it was only going to be a year. And it got worse because then I had culture shock, failed business, cold weather, all this stuff to deal with on top of it. Like my family was all weird and we had this big gaping hole in the dynamics and ended up in the hospital, double pneumonia when I hit my rock bottom. And that's when the doctor was like, here's something for your pneumonia and you better get your depression checked out. And I'm like, depression? I don't have depression, right? And that's when I discovered keeping a gratitude journal. I didn't know what it was. I just Googled like everybody else does when they have like a big wake up call. How do I handle this? Go to Dr. Google and started writing down a few things each day that worked out. And it was 2 months into this little experiment when I was out for a walk, thinking about all the things I was going to write later. Like I got a job offer from NASA. I slept really good. I'm losing weight. All these things that were happening. And I was like, oh, what's the silver bullet? What was the thing that I did? And I went through, and is it the fish oil I'm taking? And then I finally hit it on the gratitude journal. And that's when I thought, I got to tell the world about this, and decided to make an app. And nobody was making apps. I was the only, like, I had to explain what an app was when I did it. I had to explain what a gratitude journal was. Now they're both very common, which is good.
So at that time, I mean, given your experience with Microsoft, and obviously you knew a bit then about the technology, and then going through, that experience yourself and hitting that rock bottom and really thinking about, what do I need right now? I mean, it's something that I talked about in a show, right, I think it might have been probably in the first 5 shows that I did, was about like applying a concept or an idea and then applying that to a new industry. And that's really like what you did, is gone, okay, well, I know that this industry exists. I know I can create something that can help a lot of people. Now, how do I use my knowledge of technology with the experience that I had? And I know that there's these paper journals I could do. How do I couple all of that together and create something amazing? And that's obviously what you did, and created that gratitude journal, 10 years ago. I mean, I'm really interested to hear. So when you created that, did you ever think that somebody like Oprah would even pick it up? Like, tell us about that story. How did that come about? Because I know our viewers will be like, oh my God, it was on Oprah. How did you do that?
So, well, number one, creating an app was newsworthy at the time anyway. the news was like searching for any app story. And most of the apps in the app store were created by guys. And you can see it because like I have a picture of my app in the top 10 of the app store. And like number 1 is sexy girls. Number 3, just below it, is like fake cigarette. It's like all these guys type of the part 1. And, it's like fake beer drinker. And anyway, and so when I was going through this whole gratitude experiment, I was keeping a blog. That was the thing at the time. There was no Facebook, there was no Instagram, there was Snapchat and any of those. It was like you keep a blog. And so I wrote about just how I was working on Gratitude Journal, why I created the app, and I think it was USA Today picked it up right away. And they did a big spread on how I created this app. And then somebody else, like it just snowballed, like one, and then like BBC, and then another one, they just all pick up on each other's news stories, right? And so I was so inexperienced on speaking on the phone or on camera or like through interviews. It was so funny how I stumbled through these interviews, just not engaged, very technical. Because I came from this background of working for Microsoft. I didn't know the show in business at that time. And anyway, then every day almost I would get an email from a major publisher, at least. Now, like you have to pay to be seen in these articles, right? Then they were just sending, so Oprah was one of them. And I was like, what? And I was like, oh, she's going to have me for her favorite thing. She's going to like get me on the show. What's she going to do? And then it would be like, we're going to move you to the magazine. No, we're going to move you to this thing. And, like it took a while for them to finally get me in there to favorite things. But yeah. I wanted to get on her show, but I didn't get on her show. That's still going to happen.
You got darn close, right?
Yeah.
So I mean that's pretty amazing. I mean, what I like obviously about your story, and I've come to know you through the last couple of years, but you have taken that experience, and one of the things that I want our viewers to understand is that a lot of the time, we don't think we've got anything. People don't think they've got anything amazing, like, oh, I'm just little old me. I don't really have anything amazing to share. Yeah. But the interesting thing is every single individual person has something amazing to share. Every one of us is unique. And it's just a matter of like aligning, the opportunity, because for you at that time, like you were saying, I was blogging. I mean, that was the in thing to do back then. And when you get started and you didn't really know what you were doing, you didn't know how to do an interview, but you got started. You picked your platform, you got started somewhere, and then slowly but surely it gained momentum and gained some interest, piqued the interest of other people. And that then starts to kind of expedite that entire process. Let's talk a little bit about, because a lot of the people, a lot of the things that prevent us from A, starting a business, or B, like moving forward, getting knocked down and then not feeling like we can get up. You talked about the fact that you and your husband started a business and it tanked. It didn't go anywhere. I mean, what did you do to like pick yourself up and just keep going? And, how did you move forward with that?
Well, okay. So I wasn't picking myself up. I mean, I wasn't handling that failure very well at all. Now, going forward with my own business, so let's fast forward a little bit. Gratitude Journal takes off. It's doing well. I'm getting people asking me how to make apps while I make their app. And I'm still holding down a day job, running Gratitude Journal and making apps for other people on the side. And then I decided to quit my day job because we had little ones at home then and had my own agency. And that's when things started to really go south because I didn't, again, up-level my coping mechanisms. I didn't up-level my organization skills, everything. Like my life up-leveled to 10 degrees, but me, myself, was still living like I was a parent, like a single person at home, a DINK, as they call it, dual income, no kids. And So that was super hard. And what I did was I really started to invest in myself in the morning, get up really early, 5 a.m., 4 a.m. sometimes, have that good hour, no phone, no work, just like let your ideas flow, just enjoy yourself, start your day off on the right foot, like really invest in that, meditate, right? Go for exercise, drink some water, right? Just set up your day, organize what you want to have accomplished. And I had so much more, I don't know, success and so much less stress. I stopped having insomnia and, all these other things that normally is just like the norm of the entrepreneur. It's not.
Mhm.
Like, why go into being an entrepreneur if you're just going to wreck your whole life, like wreck everything about yourself? So,
I know there's this crazy saying, right? We're the only, entrepreneurs are happy to quit their 40-hour, paid day job to do a, 100 hour a week unpaid job to start with. We're the crazy ones that are,
yes.
that have got these crazy ideas, but are crazy enough to kind of get out there and do it. I mean, the thing, what's really interesting too about that, Carla, is, design. I talked about this again in another episode. It's about designing our life, and I think that's exactly what you did. Is you went, okay, hang on a minute, something's not quite right here. I need to make a change. I need to be in
Mm-hmm.
control. I need to take control of this, take responsibility for it, and make a shift and make a change. And obviously, that's when changes of your morning came in, and then slowly but surely, have you seen that? The fact that you did that in the morning start to unfold itself into every other part of your day.
Oh, it changed my life so much. Absolutely so much. Like I was so much more in touch with my intuition, I had so much more energy. I mean, like clarity, I was focused, everything changed to the point where people who got my gratitude app were reaching out to me and saying, I want more. And before then, I was like, well, I don't have anything more to give you. Like, I'm not even sleeping at night. I'm not handling stress. I am in no place to tell you what to do. But then after that shift happened, I'm like, you know what? And I wrote to my list. So I had this list of people who got my app, and I wrote to them and I said, I'm looking for 5 people. This is just an experiment. I'm looking for 5 people who are fed up with life and want to turn it around in 30 days. If that sounds like you, just reply to this email. And that's when I started my first beta coaching group. It was 10 people. And we worked together for 4 weeks, and it was nerve-wracking. Like I had imposter syndrome. I had like somebody with a PhD in neuroscience in that group. I had some really smart people, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't mess this up. But I created some super fans. I mean, just started to redesign that program and refine it every time. And now it's my evergreen product. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's so awesome. And again, you're seeing this pattern, guys. Are you seeing the pattern? It's like get started, and then things just slowly but surely unfold. Let's
Yeah.
talk about this. Like the tech industry is, like you pointed out, is chock a block full of males.
Mhm.
Why do you think it's so important for for women to stand up and actually take ownership of some space in that tech space?
Uh-huh.
And if so, how do we do that?
Sure. So one thing, when they talk about women in tech, yes, learn how to program. That always helps to know what's happening there. But just to yeah, there's a big I got bigger. Oh, now it's just me.
You did. You got real big.
So what I mean by that is don't just learn how to program. Like what we need are women who are designing the apps, who are running the show, who are the managers, not just the programmers. Not that being just a programmer is a bad thing, not at all. But you need women running the show. And the reason and it's not just women, we need a whole diversity of people because everybody connects the dots differently. And how we connect the dots is different than a lot of people, a lot of guys who are in Silicon Valley connecting the dots. And yet we use over 50% of the products out there, the software, the apps out there that are being designed by guys. And so if you come in with your own perspective, and I came in really early and I was the only sort of feminine app on the whole app store. They were all masculine apps, and there still are. And there's still a lot of low hanging fruit in the app store too. To say that it's like those days are over is a misnomer. There's still some opportunity out there.
So, in terms of like now that we've established that, and Wendy Shankel was on the show a couple of shows ago, and we were very much talking about how to sell to women and why it's important that we as women, come to the party, just as you've just said, to actually be the developers, be the people that are actually running the show, because of the fact that women control about 85% of the spend of the
Yeah.
and they hold the purse strings. So if that's the case, there's a huge opportunity, not to say that men shouldn't do it, but partnering up with a female in your team would be a really smart thing to do, because we can give like you say, a different perspective and a different way of doing things, bring something else to the table. I want to go to, you mentioned that there's this misnomer that apps are kind of been there, done that, a thing of the past. You've alluded to the fact that no, that's not the case. Tell me more.
Yeah. So, well, there's still, if you go into the App Store and you look, or like some of these websites like App Annie that tell you the stats of apps, you can look at apps that are still selling strong, but have not been updated for maybe a whole year or two. That means that the owner built it and forgot it. And you can go in there, and most of the time, the design is pretty poor, because in order to have a really sticky app, one that people open over and over and over again, you have to build in triggers that create endorphin rushes and oxytocin rushes in the person's body, and that's programmed in. So, for example, they take some, I think it was monkeys, and they rang a bell and gave them a fruit. So when the bell rang, the monkeys, I think it's oxytocin, I don't know, happiness chemical shot up. When they got the fruit, it like started to flatline. So it wasn't actually getting the prize that made them have that rush. It was the anticipation of it. So
It's
then
that
what they did,
dopamine.
what's that?
Is it dopamine?
Yeah.
That
What's the other one? Not dopamine. Yeah, I think, anyway, there's another one.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll say it's dopamine. I don't think it is. Anyway, so what they did is they randomized the fruit that they gave to the monkeys. And when they did that, when they randomized it, like sometimes they would give them double, sometimes they give them none, sometimes they would give them something they didn't like. When they created that random reward, and when they rang that bell, the dopamine spiked even higher. So when you look at your apps that you're most addicted to, it's because of the dopamine rush of what you're going to find when you open it up. For example, Facebook, friendiversary, who liked my comment? What am I going to find? And there's different dopamine rushes built into all the design too. Like if you look at Pinterest, there's a dopamine rush called the hunt, where you just scroll and scroll and scroll, and then, oh, I found something. And so really, as humans, we are now on these dopamine highs that are so unnatural, because we're constantly having them pushed and rushed and rushed and rushed and rushed again. So like reading a book doesn't give you that big of a high as much as like scrolling on the phone, because you get it like that. And so it's a bit like alcohol tolerance. When you drink a whole bunch of alcohol, your tolerance goes way up. It takes you a lot more to feel the alcohol. So the same thing is with our dopamine. It goes way up. So I kind of diverted there. But if you know that, and you design it into the apps that don't have it, the apps that don't have it are the ones where you open it up and it's the same thing every time. Boring, boring, boring. And people fall off that. They don't want the same thing. They want it to be different every time. So if you can design that in, and I have a whole course with like a whole list of different ways to do that. There's a product right there. It's already been proven that people like it. Now make it more addictive, and make some
So
money
make
off of
it better, faster, stronger. Yeah, it's
it.
doing
Exactly.
taking something and applying, some new, like you say, that it was dopamine and serotonin was the
Yes.
other. So yeah, so we're applying those principles, and I know you've got a program that teaches that, but
Yeah.
also again a show back we talked about the 8 psychological triggers that you must have inside of your membership area. So it's the
Yeah.
same sort of principles apply. It's like,
Mhm.
how do you get somebody interested, get them hooked, and keep spiking their emotional peaks so that they
Yep.
want to keep coming back.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mm.
Yep.
So how let's talk about this. You've mentioned why do you think being a woman in particular has served you well in this industry, or has it?
Well, it has because it's gotten me a lot of speaking engagements, I think, and because it's a novelty. I published a book and all that other stuff. Um, the hard part is, it's like when I'm launching and I want buyers to take me serious, and they see it's a woman running it. And I think it goes both gender ways, right? Sometimes there are a
Mhm.
few women that'll go, I just want to buy from it, buy this product because it's a female run product, right? There's some awesome women supporting women out there like that. But I think it's even harder. So, for example, I'm launching a new product, which we'll talk about in a bit. But
Mhm.
the gentleman helping me program it, he pushes it out there once or twice. I do most of the marketing. He does it once or twice. And people are like, oh, what's this? And he does it like kind of messy and not very good. But I think it's just because it's a guy with a software product. So then that makes sense to them. A woman launching a software product is still kind of like, oh, what's this? Is it going to like be cute kittens flying across your screen, or what is it going to be? They're not taking it terribly seriously just.
Oh, the she myth at play there, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
she couldn't possibly know how to do something like that.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Right? It's still like that a lot. So,
Mm.
but there are, like it plays for me where, um, for example, when I was trying to find developers to help me with my app, the first, like way back when the iPhone first came out, and there's this girl out there on Twitter, because Twitter existed, and
Mhm.
asking people like, "Hey, can anybody help me make an app? Are there any app developers out there?" And I had a lot of replies because like I was the only girl out there saying that. And so, and there are a lot of guys that help me out tremendously. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. Well,
Mhm.
let's switch this up a bit because I'm really excited. Like you being, one of the first woman to create an app, you're now on like this little journey of creating something else. So
Yeah.
let's talk a bit about that. So, Carla has a brand new product coming out called Hero. I'm going to put on the screen here where you can go and like check it out, but we're going to talk a lot about that right now. So tell us about Hero. Tell us, how did you get started? And I want, by the time we've kind of finished today, get a bit of an insight for our viewers as to if they want to get started quickly,
Yeah.
how can they do that?
Oh, I got something special for him. So,
Right, beautiful.
um, okay. So when I was doing my challenge, the back when I wrote to those 10 people and I refined that little evergreen thing, it was for a little while there, 21 days live in Facebook. So every day in Facebook, I would go live, except for on the weekends, give them a chance to catch up. But I noticed, like after day 3 or 4, people started to fall off, like showing up for the lives. And that really got me feeling, I don't know, it bugged me so much because they would blame themselves. Oh, I'm too, like, I'm not organized enough. I can't do this. I can never finish anything. And that was counterproductive to why I wanted them to join this challenge anyway. It was to reset their mindset. That was the name of the challenge, mindset reset. It was to build their confidence, not diminish it. And so I started to pull the audios from all the lives and send them out to them. Like, here's a Google Drive. You listen to this. That way you don't have to show up for the lives. You can just pick up your kids and listen. And that was like, people love that. In fact, I started to notice that the conversion rates for my next higher level ticket item was like way easier, way faster because I was in their head. They were listening to me. And it got to the point where like every day they just like hit play and listen and they got addicted to it. So now what? And so that was it was really fascinating. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to make this the core of the program. It's just going to be audio and the video will back it up. That way, like they can never say, I don't have enough time to show up for this. Like you just have to hit play and listen, and you can do it while you're getting ready in the morning, cooking your dinner, whatever. Just, find 10 minutes every day and listen. And I duct tape a solution together by just using a regular podcast RSS platform. And it was a pain in the butt because every time we had a challenge, I had to build up this whole podcast with the 21 days of audios and set them all for the dates and everything. And it was like, oh, so much work. It was more work than like even before, but because there's all sorts of technical issues. And then they had to install it with this private URL. And it was such a mess. So I, being the technical geek that I am, I'm like, there's got to be an easier way, and started to design it out. Worked with a developer friend, and he and I are like, well, let's just do a minimal viable product, an MVP. What are the minimal features that we need to get this out the door? Well, I'm such a stickler for, well, it's going to look good and it's going to do this. So we built it. We built that. And that's what Hero is. So now if you have a course or like a book and you want an audio version, or you have a challenge, if you have onboarding calls and you want people to listen to some, like instead of watching videos, you can have them listen to audios, all sorts of different ways that we're using this, lead magnets, all sorts of different ways. So what it is you just take your videos and it'll pull the audio automatically. And then you organize how you want the listener to get them. So do you want it to be dripped out? Do you want it to be on a certain date? Do you want them to have it all at once? And then when a listener gets your audio, they just install it into any podcast player they want. So they don't have to install any software. They don't have to deal with any membership logins. It's just right there in their Apple Podcast or whatever podcast player they like. And when you have a new episode come out, it'll show up there and they just hit play and listen to it. So super cool how it's working out.
Fantastic. And I see you've got, some guys are using it right now. And so tell us a little bit about some of the success, because I've seen some of the success stories. So you want to share a couple of those?
Okay, so there's a few people that already have courses that are evergreen courses they're converting. So they just uploaded their audio. So one person uploaded like 80 videos that were converted to audios. And they turned around to their existing members and said, look, we have an audio version of the course and the Q&As and plus those bonus interviews. And you can have all that for like $97. And, like they did it in a live, they made thousands of dollars like in an hour because people were buying it up. They're like, yes, I want this. And then they took it and they add it as a bump or an OTO on their offer. Yeah. So those are really easy, quick wins. Other ones are fast action bonus. So there was a gentleman who was doing a contest and he said, look, if you get in today, I'll give you everything in audio format so you can listen. You don't have to watch all my training videos. And I think he had like 3,000, 4,000 listeners sign up, like people grab that fast action bonus. So yeah. And then we have people who are using it for their audiobook for their free plus shipping books. So that's really
fantastic. Cool. So some of our audience may not necessarily be familiar with OTO or order bump or any of those sorts of things. So what I'll do, guys, I would actually do another show specifically on those components that Carla's just spoken about. But what she's saying is that, you can add that. We've talked about building out our offers previously. This is a great way to be able to add additional value to any offer that you have. So I'm really, really interested in seeing, we've got some brand new products coming out. Interested to see how we can apply this to some of the things that we're bringing out in the future too. Also, one of the questions that our audience may have is it secure? Like, how secure is it, and why is it so different to, say, a regular podcast?
Yeah, those are great questions. So a regular podcast goes out to pretty much all the different podcast players automatically. And you set the podcast to be released on a certain date and time. Now, with Hero, it's not, people can't find the link, they can't access it. They have to get it directly from you. And also, you can have episodes be dripped out. By that, I mean somebody listens to an episode and then they automatically get the second episode. And they can start whenever they want. And the second episode comes out whenever they started. Like, everybody can start at their own time. It's not date based. So there's a big difference there. And then you can also shut off access to individuals. If they're, for example, not paying their membership fees, then you can shut off the access. Now, the interesting thing, and this is how it's so much more secure than membership platforms, is membership platforms, you can share the login details with a friend, right? You can give them that LastPass or whatever you're using to store your passwords, and they can log in. And with Hero, the listener gets a little button in an email. They tap that button and the podcast installs in a podcast player. Once it's installed, it's activated. And that means that link can't be shared to a friend, so they can activate it too. And you get to see when they activated that link. So if they're saying, oh, I didn't get it, I didn't activate it, you can go, oh, no, I know you did.
My technology tells me so.
Exactly. So,
and the other question that people are going to have is, once they add their content to it, who owns it?
Oh, that's you. Yeah. That's 100% you. And that's in our terms, right? That's, we lay that out. This is all your content. So we're just really holding it for you and distributing it, so you don't have to worry about that. I mean, maybe you never dealt with this, but I was dealing with like Google Drives, and then they get it downloaded to their phone, and then they got to fumble, where is it? It's just messy. And then so many other people are like, well, I'll make an app for my class or my course so they can listen to it. Well, don't do that, because that's like $50,000, just to make an app. And then you have to maintain that software too. So this way you just set it up and you forget it. And super simple to do. It takes like 2 minutes to set it up.
It's so awesome. So guys, if you want to go and check more out about Hero and how to use it, if you go to www.hiro.fm, Carla's got a whole lot of like frequently asked questions. So if you're, sitting back thinking now, oh, but what about this and what about that? Go to that website, because it covers a lot of the questions that you probably are looking for the answers for right now. They're already on there, and it's really simple to get started. There's like this big purple button in the top right hand corner that just says join Hero now, and you can click the button and off you go. So for somebody who's wanting to, like, say someone wants to get started, so Hero, getting started with that is going to be super simple. And that means for you guys who don't currently have a program, you could actually create your own program very simply with just this piece of software. So creating your audio version of it and just putting it on here, and then making that a saleable product. That's kind of cool. And then for those of us who have got, products already, well, you can add it to the product mix, right?
Or if you are camera shy, like I was about a half hour before I had to get on with Tracy, I was like, do I have to go on live? I don't have to put on lipstick. And guess what? With Hero, you do not have to wear lipstick to do your training videos. You can,
quiet.
Yeah, you can be a mess and nobody will know.
Well, there you go. I mean, some people don't want to do, this live face-to-face stuff. That is the answer and the solution for you, right?
Yeah. And I did my whole training only audio. So they do like it. The audio industry, audio learning is like over 5 billion, and it's growing by 25% a year. That's a lot of growth. And yeah, that's a ton. And it's because people are, how many more books do you listen to than you read? It's just the natural way that we listen and learn now.
Beautiful. Well, I want to recap a couple of things, because it's been, loads and loads of value you've shared today. But I think there's some key things that I've picked up that I think our listeners, in terms of taking action, guys, there are key things that Carla has said. So the first thing is just get started. And I say this over and over and over again. It's just, don't be afraid. Just find the platform that works for you and just get yourself started, get yourself some momentum. And don't be afraid, because you're probably going, there may be some failures along the way. It's okay. It's all part of the learning journey. The second is, Carla mentioned something called, can I just confirm, was it called Annie?
Yeah, App Annie. App
App
Annie.
Annie. There you go,
Yeah.
guys. Go and
Mhm.
check out App Annie. Tell us a little bit more about that,
Yeah.
because my ears pricked up when you said that.
Right. Yes. And this is like, unless you're making apps, you don't know about these different tools, right? So App Annie, there's others. Just if you Google app analytics or app ranking tools, anything like that, because if you just look on the phone, what are the number one apps selling on your phone? It's only going to show like your region, and it's not a full picture. But if you go to App Annie, it'll show like overall in the whole world. And hey, guess what? You can make a really good app for China or for Singapore, other locations, not just in the US. So you get all this other information, what's selling, what's not, how much are they making? You get tons of information.
Mhm. So research is key. So I would say go check out that App Annie. And like Carla said, go and have a look at the ones that have, been selling really well and that haven't been touched for like donkey's years. There's like I'm all about finding the opportunity, in the needle in the haystack. Well, there it is. It'll be glaringly obvious that these are ones that have been selling, have not had anything to do with them. Huge opportunity sitting right there. And if somebody wanted to get started really quickly, what do they need to do, Carla?
Well, to get started creating apps or
Well, for Hero, it's simple. We click a button.
yeah.
But yeah, if I wanted to create my own app, how
Yeah.
simple is that?
I don't know what the exact URL is, but if you go to carlawhite.org/resources, towards the bottom, I have a freebie. It's like a synopsis of my book. Like, what is the roadmap for making an app? What's the steps by steps? And it gives you an overarching picture of what it takes, what sort of skills, how long to, like what sort of money to invest. And that would be a really good free resource to go to. I do have a book, Idea to iPhone. It's about a process. It's not so much about technologies to use. So it's evergreen. But yeah, that would be a really good first place. It was just to get that free download.
Well, that's brilliant. So, guys, I will make sure that we put those links that Carla's just given us so kindly into the comments so that you can go and pick those freebies up and, give yourself a bit of a. She's very, very good at like road mapping things out, I noticed. So go and download that. It will be your fast track to getting that stuff up and running. Thank you, Robin. She's already put it in. She's already ahead of me. She's already got it in the
Ah.
chat right now. So, Carla, like we've covered so much ground this morning. Is there anything else that you want to leave our viewers with before we kind of dial out and let you get on with your day? Because I know you've got an excited little dog outside that needs to be walked.
I think he's been taken care of. Really, you're never too young. You're never too old. You're never in the wrong spot. You're never in the wrong location, right? When I did the first app, I worked at a government facility that was 20 miles in the middle of nowhere, and we had no internet. And so I was as cut off as I could be, but yet I was able to do it, and here I am launching another app, another software. I'm well into my seasons of doing business, but I'm going to do I have so much knowledge, so much experience, and everybody does. So never talk yourself out of giving it a try. Just put together the minimal viable product, the least amount you can do, see if anybody buys it, and then just build on to that. It could just be an email that says, hey, do you want to join me for 30 days? And
Yeah.
that's
Is
all.
it something that you're interested in? Let's
Yeah,
go. Yeah.
exactly.
And then build it out from there. Well,
Yeah.
that's so brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh,
Like your
thank you.
story is, those highs and those lows, and just sharing so openly for our audience. I'm super, super. I have gratitude and I'm grateful that you've done that today. So, guys, just to recap, go download the Gratitude app. You can find that in iTunes and the Google Play. And then, if you want to get Hero, go and check that out. So hiro.fm is the place to go. And like as always, you can put your comments in the comment section here, and we'll make sure that both Carla and I will get back to you. So thanks so much for joining us today. It's always a pleasure to have our very special guests and all of you watching and listening on The Unlock Show. I will be back again my Friday. If you're in the US, it'll be Thursday. And I have to say, tomorrow is we also have some other shows inside of the Success Secrets for Family, Business and Life. One of the amazing other show hosts, her name is Vicky Helm. It is her birthday tomorrow, so I want to do a big shout out. It's actually her birthday here in Australia today, so big shout out to Vicky. Thank you for everything that you do. Have the happiest of birthdays, and we look forward to having an amazing next year with you and all the special things that you bring in the Coffee Break show. So thanks again, Carla. I look forward to seeing you back again, and I'm excited to get in and see how this Hero program is going to work for us. Thanks for joining.
Yeah. Take care, Tracy.
See you guys. Bye.